Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check, brought to you by BB. There is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about markets. Happy Friday, everybody. Third week of February. That's kind of hard to believe as well. I feel like we just started talking about February Open yesterday, but an interesting morning. I guess we do have quite a few things to talk about in the last 24 hours, right? We had a great pump on the coins. Bitcoin was teasing, flirting, some might say, with 100K USD. And then, of course, we got some news that Bybit got hacked for about $1.5 billion worth of ETH, I believe. Maybe some other assets as well. Seeing a lot of volatility when I look at the at my trading view list, if nothing else. So we will continue to kind of dissect this developing story that is new to us, right? I mean, it pretty much just came out about 45 minutes to an hour ago. So if you do have funds on Bybit and we're not aware of what's going on, now you are. And yeah, we'll probably talk a little bit about safe practices for like custodial purposes, at least. And I'm sure on this show, as well as obviously the implications for the coin prices. But I'm Tommy. You guys also know me as Snorlax. I'm joined by Tucker and, of course, Louis T. What's up, guys? Before we can get started dissecting, obviously, this headline, the way the market was moving before the headline, and, of course, kind of how we'll see how we move after it. I guess there's going to be a little bit of unpredictability this weekend. But before we can do that, going to ask if you guys can smash, slam, destroy the like button. It is Friday. It is the end of the week. This is the last time you will see the Market Check crew until Monday, and this is also the last time that we will see you. But as a result of that, we're going to do our best to cook you guys up as much alpha as we possibly can to send you off on your merry way. So if you can hit the like button, we have not shown you soybeans one time this week. The like button has been slacking a little bit. I'd love to just look at the coins the entire Friday show. So if you guys could slam the like button.
I'd love to do some chart requests towards the end if we got.
Yeah, I mean, if they hit the like button, we will do chart requests. But if you don't hit the like button, well, I think we might just dictate the script of today's show. But yeah, no. Let's talk about the hack that we just had on Bybit. Price was pumping into New York Open. ETH traded into 28.50 just about. Bitcoin into 99.5. Solana back above 180. And then we got some bad news. I saw somebody joke about it in the Discord. I don't know if he's watching, but the S&P knew about the Bybit hack ahead of time. Started selling off a little bit beforehand. It's funny how that always kind of seems to correlate. But yeah, I mean, we pumped in Europe and we're dumping on New York Open. I feel like maybe you guys can agree, because I feel like we've kind of seen that footprint a lot here over the last few weeks. Like London session will pump us, then immediately after New York Open into lunch, they just start selling our coins, man. So no, that's just kind of something that I've noticed. But this could, we'll see. Maybe we look back down the line about a week from now. This turns out to be a significant buying opportunity, or maybe this is kind of the start of something bigger. I always think when an exchange tells you that they're solvent, I would say your first thought should be not to believe them, but to always assume the worst, just because. And I'm not saying that I think the Bybit is insolvent. I'm just saying, if you are just speaking from a pure risk reward standpoint, do you really want to keep capital on an exchange that's having issues after all of the things that have happened since 2022? I don't know. Me personally, not really. So it's, in my opinion, it's always better safe than sorry with something like this. But exchanges where you custody your money, be damned. The coin prices are ultimately what's going to dictate what matters here, coming out of this. And I'd love to know y'all's thoughts on that, as well as, I mean, you guys can give any thoughts on Bybit. I, for one, would bet that they're still solvent. But again, when it comes to custodying funds, as we all know, it is better safe than sorry.
Is there like an article or something that's out yet that we get some real information on this? Because you said $1 billion in ETH.
I think 1.5.
1.5, yeah, 1.5. And it was like, it was all like ETH DeFi staking coins, right? The dude was swapping them for ETH.
So he's buying.
Yeah, but he was also selling the derivatives. and also
That's
people
fine.
freaked out.
That's
So
fine.
no,
As long
yeah,
as as long as he buys and holds ETH, as long as he's a holder, that's fine.
yeah. We'll see.
It's probably some sham. I never trust any of these things I hear, like stolen, right? Oh, it was stolen. Meanwhile, it's probably them. It's probably stole their own money.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find something with actually more information.
He gave an update, right? I mean, he did. The founder of Bybit gave an update, right? It's always going to be basically funds or Seifu, et
What's his
cetera, et
name?
cetera. We can repay the whole always one for one. That's always what they're going to tell you. History has shown us that sometimes, sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not. Again, for me, when I view custodying funds, if it's not 100% certainty, for me, I withdraw my funds. I guess I have too much PTSD from the previous bear market. And there are also just plenty of other places where you can go to trade derivatives in the same way that you can on Bybit.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I'm just reading some. He said they're all backed 1-to-1, and then Nomad said, "Is it backed 1-to-1 in cash or in coins? Because they take a lot of their fees in coin."
That's
So,
the issue with these exchanges, man.
yeah.
So you're telling me they lost $1 billion and they still have enough to cover all the assets?
Well, they'll have to probably sell off coins to like refill the hole. I guess it's anybody's guess what they end up selling off. But this is what's so tough about running a crypto exchange. A lot of people just assume that they're wildly profitable businesses, and during times of up only, they are very, very profitable businesses. But in the case of these centralized exchanges that have massive spot markets, a lot of times you have to if you were to view yourself as like a fund, and obviously an exchange isn't going to view themselves as a fund, but if you're just looking at it from the standpoint of, okay, we have X valuation, this is our effectively our AUM, but a lot of that AUM are very, very volatile crypto assets. A lot of these exchanges will take loans, they'll take debt based on the valuation of kind of the totality of their book, despite the fact that there's a lot of volatile assets and what's effectively toxic debt on their exchanges. So, Bybit will probably be fine, but again, it's always better safe than sorry. And these crypto exchanges do tend to run pretty tight. Like, I wouldn't call it a budget, because you don't really think about budgeting when you're talking about crypto exchanges, but you guys know what I mean.
Yeah. And I mean, not that we've been up only, right? But like, Bitcoin's at basically 100K. Like, they should not be in danger of, having this being a huge issue. But the market's still trying to figure out what it wants to do. Obviously, I mean, look at Bitcoin. Like, ugh, ugliness. But it is funny, they did release this news like right into overhead supply, as we'd say. But man, we were looking.
You know what this does? You know what this does? All this does is push people towards the ETFs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Like if one of the largest exchanges just gets hacked like that, like you're even starting to see some of the biggest Bitcoin guys like capitulate. Like, well, I think I saw Plan B say, yeah, he sold all his spot Bitcoin and bought back ETFs.
I mean, you could hold Bitcoin in a cold wallet, you know what I mean? You'd be fine. Right?
Yeah, but it's still risky, right? Like, let's say you lose it. Let's say someone robs your house. Let's say something happens, right? None of that's insured. At least you're covered somewhat.
Is that real?
I mean, $1 billion. How much ETH do they have? Like, I would think it's most of it.
90% of their ETH.
That's crazy.
I wonder what the order books look like on Bybit right now.
Probably a disaster. Oh my god. I haven't traded on Bybit, I don't think, since I was trading the Arbitrum airdrop. Literally.
Yeah.
I think right around that time is when they required KYC, or you couldn't just like get around it with a VPN anymore. But I mean, it's a big crypto exchange. There's no doubt about it. It's kind of become, it's interesting. Bybit used to be the exchange that you'd view as a total fade in the previous bull market. Like there was so much signal back then.
Yeah.
Before all of these kind of like these coins exist now, that they effectively operate as like structured products in TradFi that mitigate volatility, and they'll arbitrage things like funding. Like in Athena, for example, you could use Bybit. You could use Bybit funding, like dislocations against something like FTX, and the hit rate was insane because Bybit was always retail. It was always the dumb money. And progressively, they left Bybit. They ended up on DEXs like GMX throughout 2022, part of 2023. A lot of them are on Hyperliquid now. I'm sure some went back to Binance. And yeah, no, I mean, Bybit used to be so much signal, but now it's kind of smart money. If you kind of follow their flow, at least the coin margin flow, it tends to be pretty high signal.
Yeah. I guess I am seeing that their withdrawals are paused.
Oh no.
Not again.
Another traumatizing event.
Yeah.
I mean, they gave people a small window of time to withdraw cash. And again, this is why I always say, I mean, and Bybit could still be fine. I don't want to FUD it too hard, but when we talk about custodying assets, if it's not 100% chance of security, why are you keeping it there?
Yeah. Why would you not just put it in a wallet? Yeah.
And ETH is basically at the same price as last night. So we will cover this developing story throughout the weekend. What is some of the ETH derivatives that they got their hands on look like right now? Like, what does staked ETH look like? I know there was a lot of USDE on Bybit for Athena.
Staked ETH looks the same as ETH pretty much. What was it? USDE?
Yeah. Tucker, I think your screen's frozen on ETH.
Oh. I was doing it on my other screen. I'm an idiot. USDT, right? Looks the same.
Yeah, it does.
USDE, what? USDT, that. Oh no. This is on Bybit.
Gulag, man.
Huh?
Athena to the gulag.
Oh man. I mean, what were these? I mean, it's done this before.
Yes, it has. But it's always been a wick. So I guess we'll just see kind of how the rest of the day goes. It could be a nothing burger, right? I think if you're talking about funds, assume the worst. But if you're just talking as a normal market participant who doesn't have any stake in Bybit currently, right? It's kind of just like a wait and see type of thing. This is the sort of headline that you can get your account blown up on in either direction, realistically speaking. I'm sure some people have already experienced that looking at the ETH and Bitcoin charts this morning, but
yeah, if you're scalping this, man.
ENA's pride. But that's separate from USDE hack.
Is it separate?
I mean, like it's already fucked.
Yeah. It was 10% of Bybit's entire balance sheet. Is that real?
ENA?
No, the hack.
That's it?
God. Well,
I mean, it's a lot, but
that is a lot because a lot of these crypto exchanges are already under collateralized.
Right.
Never a boring day.
Can never have just a normal day. Like, it's insane. It's an absolutely insane. And it's always when stuff starts to get going, right?
It's always when ETH starts to look strong.
Yeah, it was like, okay, like we didn't even get to run any highs. Like we didn't even get to run any highs this morning. It was just like so close, about to run the highs. Let's see what happens after that. Bang. Nope. You're not even gonna get a high run.
There were some alts that gave nice squeezes overnight.
Yeah, you didn't even get that one.
We got to 28.50, man. We were looking good.
Not even run that high.
This was nice though. This just grind.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I've been
I mean,
tracking the
that
whole thing.
yeah, this literally should that's how it should resolve.
Yeah.
Literally, when it grinds up like that.
Yep.
But that's crazy. And then of course
Then you had a heavy equity market this morning, and then bang, Bybit gets hacked.
yeah,
So
equities kind of look a little.
yeah, I want to see how we close the day.
I think you
I
can come
wouldn't
back
want
to
to.
like 6,000.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see the old all-time high market structure cluster like that you have to the left there. Like I don't want to see that lost, right? If you lose
Yeah.
that, you're gonna have a longer term rollover. Even though we've kind of been ranging and consolidating for like a couple months now. Right? So, but how that affects crypto, I don't know yet. I think maybe obviously if that happens and we see a big move down, that might be like a knee-jerk reaction for crypto. But ultimately, if it does go into more of a longer-term consolidation, I feel like I don't really know yet what that's going to do to crypto, right? So we'll have to wait and see.
I mean, we've talked about it before, and Tommy's talked about it before. If we want QE, we need this. And QE happens right here.
Maybe not QE, but they're definitely cutting interest rates at those prices.
Nah, they're gonna. Oh man, you said 10%.
Doesn't have to go 10%, but like 5 to 10% down. I really don't think that the market's going to slide terribly far before somebody's stepping in. And I guess the case, I think the people who believe that there are a lot of smart people who believe that we go higher from this pivot and then kind of have the wobble. I think that's
I'd rather go down now.
Well, I think you'd rather go down now. I think if you go down in like 2 or 3 months, it's probably a little bit dicier. It's probably a lot uglier too. But
well, I mean, we have a nice market structure we put in over the last couple of months, so I wouldn't mind that. Continue grinding higher from here, and then let's say we grind up 5-10% halfway through the year. Then it happens. At least we have this nice chunk of market structure to kind of act as a support. Right.
This is hilarious.
Yeah, for real. That's what I'm saying. Like, as long as they're, as long as they understand what they're doing, they might be able to make it come up. Who knows? Maybe it's a white. Who knows if it's a white hat hacker? Right, you never know.
A white hat doesn't steal the money.
Yeah, they do.
No, but like what? And just give it back?
Yeah.
Dude, if it was, they would have said that by now. Like
they keep 10%. Keeps 100 mil. Here, take 900 mil.
They
back.
usually say it in
let me
the
fix your process.
I don't know if it's a white hat.
We got your ETH.
Yeah,
it's like we've got your nose.
Leave it to me to find the most optimistic scenario. Yeah, that's all.
No, I mean, usually when you have a white hat, they'll say it through like Etherscan or something like that. Like, this is a white hat. Yada yada yada. Crypto's so interesting, man. I was thinking about it this morning. Like, maybe it's not the best idea that we have billions of dollars in a place where you can literally hack it.
yeah.
But I guess it's a feature and not a bug. Or feature and a bug, rather. The inefficiencies that we get to trade on a daily basis.
We need insurance. I think that's a great idea, like
What
crypto insurance. Like
how
insurance.
On earth could you insure crypto?
No, that's a thing, bro. There's DeFi.
Yeah, I think it's already a thing. But like you basically
Is it
pay
really?
right insurance. Like you pay insurance. Like let's say I have $1 million in Bitcoin. You pay insurer maybe like monthly, yearly fee. Nothing happens. You just you're just paying them. But if you do lose it, they'll come. They'll
pay you out.
They'll pay you out. Right? I think that's a great idea, right? Because then like someone that's holding like crypto on cold wallets and all these different wallets, like it makes you sleep better at night, because that's the one thing that's like different from crypto than TradFi. I mean, obviously way more other things, but as far as like security and like safety of your assets. Like no one's investing in stocks and worried about, their stocks getting stolen or lost forever by accident. That's not a thing. That's something I'd pay for. I'd pay for it.
Must be nice.
You have to pay for it, I think, by wallet, Louis.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like each wallet, if it's like a cold wallet, probably a little more, you get a better rate where it's like a whatever,
Is the insurance third party or is it native to crypto?
I don't know. It's a good question. I think there might be, I remember seeing like one or two like natively crypto insurance companies, but I'm sure
I think I'd prefer a third party if I'm
right. Just not a crypto company. The crypto insurer is insolvent.
Yeah, that's
well, I just, there's just so much tail risk in crypto, historically speaking. I don't even know how you run a profitable insurance company like insuring crypto, because obviously insurance is kind of predicated on you're going to be profitable because bad events are very small in quantity.
Yeah.
So they happen all the time. I don't know.
Someone's saying, look at Kobe's recent tweets. Please look. Oh, God. It was Kobe.
What did you
Did you
just
say
say?
you don't know who Kobe is?
No, I said it was Kobe.
Oh, it was. I was like, Louis. Would be a shame if price doubled.
That's what he said?
He said Bybit has to rebuy 1.4 billion of ETH. Would be a shame if the price doubled.
Oh.
Okay, ETH, you can go when you feel like it.
What if the price doubles, Tommy?
I would be pretty doubtful of that, but
I wonder if there's any truth to that. Like, I think they would just start smash buying ETH.
Well, they have to, I think, to some degree.
It's a forced buyback.
I mean, they have to replenish their hole in their balance sheet now. 10% is a lot.
Ben Zhao is doing a live stream, someone said.
Yeah, there goes our entire audience. See you guys.
Yeah. Honestly, we should honestly just pull it up and just stream it.
It's okay, guys. We understand if you want to go watch Ben Zhao.
Especially if you have funds on the exchange.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's all right.
I'll tell you what, though, this little blip or this little whipsaw we saw this morning, we've seen this stuff before. And then we've seen it just carry on its merry way. So it really just all depends on what the, I will probably know once more and more news comes out about this, right? Sadly. But when I was looking at the terminal last night at the heat maps and Bitcoin, like on like the 12-hour and the 24-hour heat map, it was literally just sandwiched on both sides with liquidity. Like I've never seen something like that. Like there was just a stack. Price was here. There was a stack of liquidity above and a stack of liquidity below.
You can pull it up, boy.
It's not. It doesn't look. It's not there. Like
you got taken already.
Yeah, it's already gone. Which is annoying. Like sometimes, like when you go back, like you can't. It looks different. Like either they pulled the liquidity or something, and it doesn't look the same. But it was fully stacked, like 0.5% or 1% in each direction. So obviously they sent it higher first, and then bang, they sent it back lower. So I mean, this could just be, just some whipsaw liquidity taking, and then we just continue on our merry way. But I think we would have to hold this red box that Tucker has drawn there, right? If you can kind of hold this and continue to push higher and not get back below, I think there's a good shot we start taking those all those highs to the left of us, right? But if we do start to lose that red box, you start trading back inside that little local range that we've created down here over the last couple of weeks. There's probably a chance that we head back to at least, the local lows, if not our range low or even that spider line that he has there. So I think today, seeing where we close today is very important, especially going into the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But seems to me like a little liquidity, liquidity shenanigans like we've seen before. But that'd be nice.
Oh my gosh.
You do kind of got to wonder though, like if you're a hacker and you have that much cash, or not cash, but ETH, you can't swap it to USDC or USDT because you could get the funds frozen. Really, kind of your only option is something like DAI, not DEI, but DAI, for my old town or my old time DeFi enjoyers. What else is there? There's like probably like USD.
Is like Tornado Cash still a thing, or
they'll probably try to like rinse the funds, obviously, but
correct me if I'm wrong. Don't what you normally see is like don't like when a big thing happens like this, they usually chill on the money for a long time before they start doing stuff, because like right now all eyes are on this. So usually, you see these hacks happen, and then a couple months later, then you start to see the movements happening. Oh, they're moving money here, they're moving money there. So it wouldn't make sense where they just turn around and try to just dump this all at once if they're asking to get caught, right? So, we could have a $1 billion ETH whale that's forced to hold over the next couple months. Bullish?
it just depends on what Bybit had cooking under the hood, in my opinion, right? Like how under collateralized, if they're even under collateralized, are they? Does it have any implications for the rest of the market? That's, I think, the part that matters more than the ETH. Because I agree, Louis. Usually, when we see these hacks, we don't see them sell the ETH immediately. I think about something like the I can't even remember what it was, but it was maybe like a hack in 2015 or 2016. They moved that ETH for the first time. I want to say back in like October, I think it was, of last year. So they'd been sitting on it for years before they finally ended up moving it. I don't know if they ever sold it or not, but that was the first time that they moved it.
Yeah. Someone's saying in the comments, don't know how true this is, but hackers sending 10K ETH chunks to new wallets at a time. 10K ETH chunks at a time to new wallets. Yeah.
He thinks that we don't have the software to track him anymore. No, I wonder what his plan is. Seriously, only time is gonna tell us kind of how this shakes out ultimately. But it's never a good thing when you have an exchange like Bybit getting hacked for literally over a yard.
Yeah,
I'd love to look at some other coins though. Things like Sol, maybe some DeFi stuff. Obviously, Hyperliquid is a benefit.
Tommy.
That it's rug.
A little bit, yeah.
I've been hacked.
It was Tommy.
And I think, who's a big beneficiary of something like this? It's Hyperliquid.
Yeah, it was pumping today, wasn't it?
It had a nice buyback yesterday. This thing is just refusing to go down, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, the longer it refuses to go down, I think it's going to slowly drift back to the upside, unless it's like a super vicious, predatory, like scam wick and then dump, but this looks like it's going to run it back turbo.
It's hard to try to call this like a bear flag anymore.
It's going on a little too long. I would agree. It looked like a bear flag to me for a while, right? Unless it's going to drop from here, right? But like if you push the highs again, you're no longer in a bear flag. You're probably looking more of like a rounding bottom or something like that,
This can't be longer than this.
Yeah. That's very good, Tucker. That's wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, baby.
I'm playing.
Oh, dude.
Tommy, bro.
Come on, man.
There you go.
Come on. I'm playing this in one of two ways personally. I'm either buying the dip because I do still think this will probably come down, but if it really
he just needs a hard reset.
Yeah.
Someone said, how do I buy Hyperliquid? I think the only place to buy Hyperliquid is actually on Hyperliquid, right? That's something Tommy knows, but he's
definitely listed. Hang on, let's see.
He's stuck in the void.
No, it's on other stuff.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. There are all the exchanges that you can get it on. That's Perp from XC. Spot on BitGet, Gate.io, or you bridge, if you have MetaMask or something like that, you bridge USDC to Arbitrum. Go to Hyperliquid website, pull up the exchange, connect your wallet, and then you could buy it on there. If you want more information on that, go to our website, go to our education tab, and there's a free tutorial that I did on setting up Hyperliquid and using that as well. So,
yeah, I bet Tommy had his VPN on.
Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah. That always screws me up with Discord and like streaming. Yeah, Hyperliquid's been strong, man. Ay, ay, ay.
Ay, ay, ay.
I have returned.
There he is.
No, I was saying I wanted to finish my my sentence with Hyperliquid because I'm playing it one of two ways. I'm either going to buy the dip because I still view this personally as distribution on it, or it's not distribution. It's like you guys said, it's reaccumulation. I think if you break above like 28, 29 bucks again, it's more than likely. I would be shocked if it's distribution at that point. And I think I'd probably just ape it at that point. Indiscriminately.
Mm-hmm. You'd have to.
Yeah. Especially because most other altcoins don't even really look apeable to me.
What are the likes at? Because people are asking for charts, and would love to do some chart requests, but only if the likes are sufficient.
I'm going to guess they're not sufficient.
And I'm going to guess no chart requests.
Yeah, you guys need to get the like button up. We are not doing chart requests until you guys get this video to 200 likes. Right now, we're at 130. I know many of you are just sitting there twiddling your thumbs, not hitting the like button. We're always very appreciative when you do. It always helps grow the channel when you hit that like button. But we show up for you guys every single day, no matter what the market is doing. So if you could hit the like button, we would be very appreciative on this fine Friday.
Oh, man. Caspa.
That looks horrible.
Yeah, it doesn't look great. Doesn't look great. Where's the yeah.
I think you need to zoom out a little bit more, actually. That is rough, man. That kind of looks like that IWM Spoos chart we were looking at.
Bro, it does. Where
for Spoos IWM.
It literally just not even this part, actually, just down. That's what it looks like. Here, I'll pull it up. IWM over SPX.
Why isn't Hype listed on Binance? Because they are our direct competitor. I think it would not really be beneficial for Binance to list a token that, as it appreciates, will only stand to be a great marketing tool for Hyperliquid to attract users away from Binance. Clearly, they're already kind of insecure about it. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the way Binance has been tweeting around Hyperliquid, kind of like very nonchalantly. Don't fall for hype is literally what they said in a tweet earlier this week.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, these do look similar.
That looks like that last shoulder on IWM SPX.
This?
No, the part right after it. The tiny one.
This?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. I mean, dude, that thing came all the way down. That'd be like down here.
I think if you were to like ask me to point to a chart that looks like distribution in a textbook, I'd probably pick that Caspa chart.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the Bitcoin top two are just 1, 2, 3, lower high. See you later.
Was looking at Caspa.
Mm-hmm.
They pump the likes for us.
I sure hope so.
Wow, what are you guys doing?
It looks like they got the like button up a little bit.
Yeah, Caspa,
Like
it's kind of at a spot
good
where it needs to get back into the range, or it's just right now we're just underside bearish retesting the loss of the level. But yeah, looks extremely distributive, but lower time frame, it looks constructive, trying to pop back inside the range. But we'll see if this whole event throws a curveball at everything I've been looking at for the past 2 weeks. So
is Caspa listed on Bybit by chance?
No, I don't think Caspa's listed like barely anywhere.
It's gotta be on Bybit, bro. Hang on. Yeah, it is. I don't know if they have perps or not. Yes,
They do. God, I'm going to be spending my entire weekend looking at Bybit derivatives. I'm complaining, but secretly, you guys know I'm overjoyed.
Yes, I know.
That's the kind of stuff I like to do. We're getting a request for Tau.
Ah, yes. XC chart.
Weird chart. I guess it looks a lot like ETH.
Yeah, it looks exactly like ETH, actually.
I think the question with something like Tau is, do you believe in AI seasonality, right? Because we've seen kind of the biggest outperformance from AI typically in the fall and then parts of Q4, at least kind of 2022, and then the early stages of Q1 in 2023. Same thing for 2024, and also, you know, early 2025, we had a lot of AI performance. So by that logic, you know, I don't know if I expect AI outperformance until later this year, at least, you know, as far as it returning. But at the same time, there have been a lot of AI charts that have been giving really nice bounces from local levels. Like Tau is one. Hey Anon is another. Obviously, that's one that we called out in the Discord at lower prices. Not holding it right now, but I definitely recognize the strength that it's had. Sonic has been strong off the low. I think that's played a big role in that. But you know, I think some of these charts need time to go sideways.
Yeah, a lot of them do. Like just base for a little bit.
I like the buyback though.
Went all the way down to 3. Holy shit. Yeah.
Hey Anon's going to have a second cycle at some point, and it's going to cook. I think you can look at the historical chart for Spell and get kind of an idea of how it's going to play out as well.
Spell, huh?
You're going to need the Binance isn't going to have enough price history.
Which
See
one?
if there's like a crypto, just like a general crypto. There should be. Damn. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's good. Sound like Mike Tyson.
Which one? USD.
Oh, there it is. They don't even have it, man. Jeez. Yeah, so most people don't even realize this, but Spell, before its run up at the end of 2021, actually had a first kind of starter pump in the spring of 2021. Nobody knew about the token. It wasn't listed anywhere. You can find it on Deck Screener if you're viewing the V2 contract on Sushi Swap, and you can see that first pump that Spell had. And in the same way, hey, like Spell, I want to say drew down 80 to 90% from those highs. Hey, Anon could be, playing out the exact same price action, more or less.
Never even heard of Spell.
Spell cooked so hard last cycle. This is one of my favorite tokens.
Yeah.
Yeah, never heard of it.
Unit had everything, man. Unit cost. It had a narrative. It was basically like Maker DAO. But the stable coin you would mint instead of DAI, it was MIM, Magic Internet Money. And people would just use it to loop things like Time Wonderland.
Tucker, just give it, just boot this guy. Just
get him out.
Rashad, I'm sorry, bro.
No, I'm not even sorry. Get out of here.
We're not looking at render, brother.
Yeah. Now, honestly, now I will. That he's gone.
Oh my God, that comment. I'm not gonna put it on the StreamYard, but Mike Oxon, that one's a
got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
No, I loved Spell in the last bull market.
Yeah, wait, what was the abracadabra thing?
What do you mean?
Was that Spell?
Yeah. That was the site that you would use.
Yeah.
I forgot how the mechanism works.
Abracadabra.
It was so good because it was good utility for DeFi with legitimate memetics, and the unit cost was amazing. It was one of the most obvious cooks that I can remember of the last bull market. And then it got listed on FTX, and everybody thought that would top it because for a long time, I don't know if you guys remember, but FTX exchange listings topped everything. And I remember Danny took that personally because Alameda, back when they still existed, were trying very hard to short the market basically and crash Spell, and he just started aping on chain. And I think for at least a little bit he squeezed the Spell shorts, but obviously we see how the chart looks now. Like everything, it comes back down to earth.
Aptos. We can look at Aptos.
That's a meme.
Does it actually not look good here?
I know exactly what I think Aptos looks like. It doesn't actually look good here. I think it's just kind of like that dude on Twitter is ratioing everybody, and that is pretty funny.
Sidelined.
Sidelined?
What does it look like, Tommy?
It looks exactly like Rune in the last bull market.
Really? This
exact same.
Didn't the Aptos CEO quit, or the dev or whatever?
He retired.
I retired. Yeah, it's cooked.
Shout out to him, man. He didn't even make any vagueness about it. He's like, well, my token's vested. I'm out.
Yeah. Tommy, this guy, man, I love cats, who you should has been asking for Michi for weeks.
I know, man. I haven't looked at Michi myself in months. So we can look at the chart, but
Mexi. Fuck no. Yeah, that's it.
I mean, I could see it forming a base here. That looks like a pattern that, God, I'm gonna repeat myself. I always quote this pattern, but if you were to look at L1s, kind of after spring of 2021, a lot of them had this pattern. This is around the point where they started to base out and form reaccumulation.
Yeah.
Look at something like FTM, Harmony, things like those. Back in 2021, coming out of the summer. I think that's what you have to bet on.
This?
No, 2021. Do USD. Yeah, that. So like that's the optimistic case. I can't promise that every meme coin is going to do something like that, but I think that's the sort of structure you should be looking for to form, or else it's probably not coming back.
Well, that's the thing. Like last cycle, I mean, this has been obviously different, but what you saw leading into the bull run and then the crazy alt mania that we saw in 2021 was, you had a nice run up in the middle of 2020, right? Bitcoin rallied from like 3K to 14K. Alts had sick bounces across the board, looked great. Everyone thought the bull run was starting. And then we kind of just erased almost all of those gains before turning back to the upside and starting the real bull run. So do we see that again? Maybe, right? I'm optimistic for that, right? And that's why I'm still, optimistic for that to happen. And I'm, fully invested here because we did see that, right? You saw the big run up on alts bleed out completely, right? Completely reset. And that was pretty demoralizing for a lot of people. But if you were a buyer there, right, you profited very well, right? So, this isn't something we haven't seen before. I mean, obviously a little different. Some altcoins haven't really ran at all. It definitely is becoming more of a picker's market, right? Like everyone wants to talk about saturation. And that because of that, altcoins aren't going to run. Well, no, what's going to happen is the good altcoins are going to run and all the garbage is going to go to zero. That's what's going to happen. And the market will figure that out, right? Markets will over time solve the problem that everyone's talking about, which is oversaturation, right? So yeah, it might be more of a picker's market, but I think we still see something very similar to what we saw last cycle, right? And I think we're coming into that second, that rollover before you see the real move. So
I think people need to get used to alts continuing to trade as they always have, right? I mean, Bitcoin will probably trade more like an index from here, but that doesn't mean that altcoins are not altcoins. That doesn't mean that your altcoin is going to just kind of look like a stock index as well, because it's like you said, Louis, it's a stock picker's market, and there's still a lot of bloat in the altcoin market. VC scams, a lot of high FDV garbage that will eventually probably bleed to zero, or at the very least bleed to zero against something like Bitcoin. But Bitcoin can continue to just kind of stack consolidations on top of each other while altcoins are very sensitive to liquidity. I don't really see that part of the market changing anytime soon.
Somebody asked for Barra.
Chimp phone shorted the top.
Did he?
Yeah, he shorted the top. I don't know if he actually did it. It might have just been a shit post that he posted on X last night, but it was Barra, Kato, and what was the other one? IP, like all of the strongest coins in the market. He was like, I'm shorting all three of these. And they were all down this morning when I woke up. He might have just been shit posting, but even still, we should definitely look at IP.
Oh yeah, story.
Talk about a scam.
Damn.
Literally an 8 or 9x in a week. This is why I just don't like. I can't personally get down or adhere to these people that just want to like sulk about coins being down. There's so much opportunity in this market, guys. I mean, this literally ripped an 8.5x. Like an 8 to 8.5, 9x in a week.
Yeah, that's wild. $9. Yeah. They want Trump. Louis, you got a Trump chart?
Yeah.
Pull it up here.
I'd also, when we get done with Trump, I'd like to look at Blast. I know that's kind of a meme. At least we've always referred to Blast kind of as a meme, but one of the smartest traders I know is a pretty big bull on blast. And I think at these valuations, it's pretty cheap. I want to say it's approaching like 100 mil market cap.
Bottoming range, Tommy. Bottoming range.
Yeah,
You hope.
that's
Yeah.
that's kind of it. Either it's the bottoming range or it's not.
Yes. Wait, hang on. Let me pull this up.
I think I'd be more interested in bidding that second curl up, right, to confirm the double bottom, because it will probably put in a few like small candle body, you know what I'm talking about, like those small candle body grind up higher, and then you're going to start to see the bodies of the candles expand before it actually breaks out.
Yeah,
I'd like to bid into something like that.
yeah. So kind of how I'm looking at it is, classic slow grind, 3-drive sort of pattern into a completely oversold environment. You see a massive mean reversion bounce, right? Right into the underside, basically probably the biggest supply level you have above us, right? So what you want to see is, we got the pump, great. It retraced, that's kind of normal, right? Like, you got to understand one thing is like when the bottoms and like reaccumulation and accumulation, like these things take time, right? These things take a while. It's not just gonna, every now and again you'll catch something that just goes like that, V recovers, and that's that. But that's really a rarity, right? What you normally see is, a mean reversion bounce. And if it is, right, if this is going to be a bottoming range, you either come back double bottom or you come back higher low, right? And you see more or less chop, and then you create a massive base of reaccumulation. And then you take off, right? So we got the first move, right? Volume came back in, which is a good sign, right? Like, you want to see the volume return when a chart is dying like this. So this, first good sign, right? We're seeing volume and buyers return, and now it's dying back off. But what you want to see, if this continues to round out, right? We continue to see this to round out, continue to create higher lows, grind back to the upside. You want to see volume come back up, right? And stay elevated. And then if that does happen, this was your signal that that buyers were returning and had an appetite down here at these levels. So kind of what I'm watching. I've been personally been buying this down here, right? Didn't touch it with a 10-foot pole when all this was going on, right? I just know better than that. Like, if you weren't buying when it first came out, and you were trying to chase up here, not what you want to be doing. What you want to be doing is let this thing bleed, let the euphoria die out, let people start talking about it being a rug, being a scam, going to zero, never coming back, which kind of is the rhetoric at this point in time. And then you start to find areas where it's worth a risk reward shot, right? Which, I took my first long here, saw a nice reaction. And then I've been adding to that position in here. And pretty much the play is either, like I just said, either this kind of continues to curl up, we get a higher low, and we start to see grind higher. Maybe it's choppy, but it's going to continue to grind higher. Or this was just a massive dead cat bounce, and this continues to slow bleed again. And then you just, that play didn't work, right? So the thesis is this is likely an area where it's worth taking a shot at accumulating. And worst comes to worst, this isn't the accumulation range we're looking for. You cut for a small loss, and either you look lower or you just find something else to trade. So, but this is something I think is going to come back, right? I don't think there's a scenario where this continues to bleed and doesn't come back with a vengeance. I just think that would be too much of a stain and tarnish on Trump and his administration, right? Obviously, it is here locally, right? But I think if it comes back, no one will care, right? No one will care that the initial pump sold off, right? But if it doesn't come back and it just was a 100% failure, I think that has worse, outlying effects. So I think this is something that comes back in a big way. And I think it's in an area where it's worth taking a shot, right? This reminds me of Pepe, right? Pepe in 2023, right? Bear market, nothing was going on, right? Shot up, went on a massive rally in the middle of a bear market. Everyone's paying attention to it. It's the hot new big thing. Everyone's chasing that pump. Everyone's chasing that move. And after you got that move, bled all the way back down, And then when Pepe was in this area, late 2023, that's when I was buying up Pepe, right? And it looked a lot similar to this, right? It was put in like slow bleed down, put in a nice range. At one point, deviated the range low, got back inside, and then bang, it did like a 10x to the upside. When everyone was calling Pepe dead down here, and everyone was extremely bullish and euphoric on it here, right? So that's kind of how I look at these things. Like when these first come out, super successful. Like my mom asked me about Trump coin up here. Like has never really made an investment in crypto in her life. And she was asking me about Trump coin. I was like, yeah, don't touch it. Like if you want to look into buying something like that, we're going to wait. It's probably going to drop a lot, and then we'll come back and scoop it up when it's lower. And like she asked me, it was at like $65, right? Then I came in and bought her some down here around 15.
You weren't going to let her buy $65 Trump coin.
No.
You're a good son.
Yeah. I saved her from that. Yeah, I saved her from that. So
I feel like this is one of those, and I don't mean to interrupt you, Lou.
No, go ahead.
But for me, like the way I view Trump, maybe it goes lower, maybe it doesn't. But I know when the market has confidence in bidding risk again, like one of the coins that will ascribe value to the quickest will be Trump.
Yeah.
Simply because of the name.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's basically my thinking on it as well. Like if the market does turn around here somewhat soon, like this is something that's going to get bid, right? This is something that's definitely going to get bid. Whether it's here, right? Whether we hold high ground here, right? Because this black line here, this is like the floor, right? Before it got trapdoored, right? Came back below. Look what happened when we got back above. Bang. Jeez, I keep doing that, right? Shot back up. Big move to the upside, right? And on this slow bleed, once again, got back below it. And now we're kind of just ranging and flagging right on top of it. So either this is going to slow bleed back into here, and then we watch what happens here, or this is going to do something like this. Reclaim, price acceptance back above this level, bang, right? Something like that. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. But I think it's in a good spot for risk reward here, to take a shot. Right? This is how you buy things low. But obviously, completely dependent on the overall market.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even if take a shit, it's not looking good.
It is trying though. It's trying to bottom here.
Yeah, no, it definitely is trying. So seeing good signs, but has a little more work to do.
They never let us have weekends off anymore. At least like the last few months, they've just been like, unfortunately, we're going to force you to be glued to the screen. But again, I act like I don't like that. I do. Especially when it's not football season anymore. I mean, what am I going to do on my weekends?
Yeah, I don't really do anything anymore.
Let's
see if this holds. Let's see if this holds. I mean, this was a clear area to reject, right? We've been getting rejected here this whole time. But like we didn't even get to run any of these highs. Like we still got a couple stacked highs here. Didn't even get close. Or we got close, but not that close. So let's see if this can hold, right? Press, bounce, and then we see what happens up here for ETH. Or this was a strong enough move to fuck this structure up. Start losing this low. We're coming down here, minimal, right? Filling some wick.
I feel like Sol will be good signal from here. If it starts to bleed out and show weakness, it'll probably be a sign the rest of the market's about to leg. At least, I mean, backfill some of these wicks.
So I just got to plug my computer and it's about to die.
And then there was just me. Yap time with Tommy. But oh man. I'm actually it's kind of funny. I'm not the biggest sports bettor. I think I get my fix from the market, but I do want to say this because this is something I've been thinking about over the last few days. I would love to know your thoughts, Louis, and if Tucker is going to come back, I'd like to get his as well. But poly market, I actually think is worth farming. I'm sure there have been a lot of people who have been farming it already, obviously, just from a pure volume standpoint. They like to use the product, but we've seen the airdrops that have cooked the hardest this cycle have been the ones that have a very clearly defined product market fit. I think about Jupiter. I think about Hyperliquid. The people who are using these products are not using them just so they can farm an airdrop. It's because they actually find usage or like genuine utility and usage out of them. I think Polymarket kind of fits in that boat. There's a pretty good shot that they're going to do an airdrop. I mean, if they're going to do an airdrop, I would say like the odds are probably like over 75 to 80% that they're going to do one. I don't know how hard it will cook, but I think it's worth farming.
Talking about Polymarket?
Yeah, I'm personally going to be looking to do more volume on Polymarket going forward.
It might not be a bad idea.
I think the way to kind of farm it is obviously volume, but if you trade a lot of different markets, I'm sure that will help a lot as well, right? Because there's so many different things you can bet on Polymarket. Not to say that people should do that, because obviously I can't market a little bit harder from here.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Every now and again, I'll dabble, I'll gamble a little bit, but like trading and being a crypto investor is enough of a gamble for me. For me, it's like every day I gamble realistically, but every now and again.
It's like people ask me about sports betting in real life. And they're like, oh yeah, I put like $10 on this parlay. I hope it hits. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, me thinking about the notional perps position I'm currently managing, and I'm like,
yeah, exactly. It's like
I can't do it.
I've been gambling all week.
I've literally been gambling all week, and my brain, I can't gamble significant sums of money on sports because the outcomes are so binary, right? Like you win or you lose. With crypto, at least, like if I'm wrong, I can cut and still keep
you have some sort of an edge. That I look at it the same way. It's like if you actually figure out what you're doing when it comes to trading, at least a little bit, it doesn't make sense to go big on like betting sports and stuff like that when you could just do the same thing with way less risk as far as trading goes. So I look at it the same way.
Exactly, Booty.
Yeah, it's just for lap. Or it's like you're hanging out with your buddies, or you're watching a game, make it a little interesting. Yeah, you put some money on it. Like,
if you were to bet on the game, I don't know if you would agree with this, Louis, but for me, like, I like to consider myself pretty knowledgeable about sports, but if I'm only betting on the games in a given year where I feel like I have a genuine edge on betting, I'm probably betting less than like 10 times a year total.
Yeah.
In practice, I'm not that disciplined, but that's how it should be.
Yeah.
If you're betting how you would approach trading markets, you're only betting when you have an edge.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we know how that goes in practice.
Yikes, S&P looks heavy, man.
Should we look at Arkham?
Arkham?
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally not a huge fan of Arkham, but when we talk about tracking the blockchain, good PR for Arkham today, I would imagine.
Oh my gosh.
My thing with this token, does the product accrue value to the token in any way? Because the product's useful.
I don't know anything about this, so if you're asking me, I don't.
It's like blockchain tracking. stuff like
I
that.
think, didn't they just put out like a bounty for the, I think they just put out a bounty, or unless I'm thinking about someone else, a different project, to help figure out who hacked Bybit.
Probably
that's
North
cool.
Korea.
So that's cool.
It's probably
mean,
Lazarus Group.
This is kind of like a do or die level here. Yeah, I don't know.
Somebody just made a joke in one of my group chats. They're like, when Binance equity buy-in announcement to Bybit, like they did with FTX. Dear God,
right. Yeah,
let's not do that again. That's a good
ETH
one.
BTC was looking decent this morning. Not anymore.
Yeah, I still don't know what to make of this. Like, I could see it being mostly bottomed. I'm not going to try to be a hero and call bottom on it, though. I think the healthiest thing for it at this point would be a rounded bottom, right? The type that clearly looks like a bottom. I don't know that I think this is going to be a vicious reversal at this point.
Yeah, the only hope we have is this weekly candle, right? I've talked about this before on here. Big weekly down candle, got bought up nicely, put in a nice pin bar here. So realistically, kind of got to watch the wick low, right? If this can remain above this wick low, even come down here a little bit, but if it can remain above the wick low, there's a chance that this marks a local bottom, at least locally. Pico, I don't know, right? And we've seen these weekly candlesticks, create high time frame pivot points in the market, right? So like had one here, created basically the low before the big move, right? Had one here, created the pivot point low before another move back to the upside. We had a similar one, but to the upside, right? Created the pivot point, big wick to the upside, basically started this multi-year long downtrend. So is like this the start, right? This weekly candle, and this is the end, right?
I think contextually it makes sense, right? Like the merge. I don't know what exactly the merge did from like a technical standpoint, but ETH stopped being deflationary kind of around that time, or around the time of the Denkun, I don't know how to say it, the upgrade.
Yeah. But I mean, this you had this weekly candle, and then it was immediate bang, right? Like nice and easy, right? That's like you got the weekly candlestick signal, and then a little bit of up, and then bang, straight down. Like, of course, we didn't get that. We're getting blip, 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 blip. Bullshit. So, but
it's not a bad thing to see volatility start to die on ETH BTC, though.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, but yeah, it would have been nice if we just had this to the 1 second.
I do think that at this point, the healthiest thing for ETH Bitcoin, and nobody's going to like it, at least from the standpoint of like, oh, you're going to give them plenty of time to get filled. Like, yeah, sometimes that's how a market is going to function, right? I mean, at this point, the bleed on ETH BTC has broken through enough levels of support and volume that we expected to hold, that at this point, like a vicious reversal candle, I think is less sustainable, even if it goes, if you get like a big pump on ETH BTC, it's probably just going to turn out exactly like it did in May, which isn't what you want. You want the bottom to form on this pair, or else it's literally just like buying IWM, where you're just buying it for timing. But I don't think that that's, I really don't think that's where ETH is on a long-term basis. So like, I would love to see a rounded bottom form on ETH BTC. Takes like, I don't know, a while to form. Nobody's going to like it because a lot of people are going to have the opportunity to say, oh yeah, we're forming this rounded bottom. And people maybe who were not early to the ETH trade are going to have the opportunity to enter. They're going to keep funding it, but price will stop. ETH Bitcoin at least will stop going down, despite sentiment continuing to get worse. That's probably what I would look for, right? Like that's kind of the basic concept of reflexivity is when the market's kind of like moving, how expectations move around it. If the market stops moving down, but expectations continue to move down, I'd say that's a pretty good sign for ETH BTC. But
I think we could also maybe see something like this, right? Like similar to what we saw last time we were down at these levels. We're like,
I agree.
You push up, you reject, you push up, you get back inside the range, and then, you get some chop. So it looks something like this, right? Like here, and then something like that. We could definitely see something like that too. Like that's what we got here. And if that's the case, then the cyclicality of alts and ETH is completely gone, right?
To me, keep going.
Yeah, the only shot at that still being somewhat alive and still true is if we get the big bang, right? And then we just start to head up, right? But if we start to put in like a big choppy bottom in here, reclaim the range after a while, that you're pushing us out to like middle of the year, right? Which is okay. But yeah, that would completely nullify the ETH and altcoin cyclicality at that point.
I think this is a great visual, though, of that cyclicality, right? And kind of how it's playing out. It's not maybe in the traditional 4-year sense, but when we look at altcoins, when we talk about like a mid-cycle correction, it's almost like the past few years have been a test pump for altcoins relative to, you look at ETH BTC in 2017 to 2018, mega moon. Probably the next cycle for ETH BTC, because I'm assuming it's not just going to nuke straight through every support. You form a low, and then you begin the real altcoin cycle, right? I mean, I don't think that that's like too crazy of a viewpoint, but it is crazy, I think, if you're viewing the cycle just through a 4-year lens, because at this point, like ETH BTC would have to have like a vicious reversal back to the highs.
Yeah, it's either going to happen quick or it's just not a thing anymore. It's one or the other. And time's running out for it to happen quick. Time's running out for that as well. So, we will see.
400,000 ETH. Can you imagine having that many
Jesus
ETH?
Christ, dude. It's always something.
400,000 ETH, man. Holy shit.
This is ridiculous. Like, what are you doing? Some bullshit.
What are the coins doing right now?
Bitcoin starting to sell off again a little bit here. Let's see. I mean, you want to see the price get back above here. I think if you hang around down here a little too long, you're coming back down to here, right? Range lows minimum. Range lows doesn't hold. Could get ugly. So we'll see what happens as the day goes on, right? I feel like price is still kind of settling.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't a huge move, but it was definitely a knee-jerk reaction. And I think price is still trying to figure out and take in what just happened and what it's going to do, right? How it's going to react. So I think people are still a little confused and uncertain here. So we'll see. But
big weekend.
Yeah, right into the weekend. And they always do this going into the weekend too. They always do it.
I don't think we've had a week without a bad headline on a Friday in probably like 2 months. Yeah,
it's
honestly,
crazy.
It's been a while.
It's ridiculous.
But yeah, we will see how it ultimately all shakes out. I don't know if you had anything else that you wanted to look at, Louis, but we can go and wrap up the stream if not.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, guys. Well, we hope that you enjoyed the stream today. It was it was a little interesting today, especially because obviously we had Bybit FUD, maybe not FUD in the literal sense. It's real drama occurring with Bybit. We'll see what it means for the rest of the market, obviously, here over the next few days and probably into next week, because this usually is not the sort of thing that resolves itself in 1 hour. But if you heard anything during today's stream that you find interesting, maybe you're looking to see how the team covers this Bybit stuff moving forward, how we position around it, well, we have a few ways for you to potentially do that, as well as continue to learn from the team, starting with our premium Discord. Come join for our alpha 4 to 5 hours of daily calls. That's not an exaggeration. Sometimes we actually go longer than that. Me and Louie were cooking pretty hard yesterday afternoon. Jackus and Max cook hard every single morning. So if you're looking for the views of any analyst on a given day, well, we've got exactly the ability for you to be able to do that. So check out the Discord. We were also nice enough to discount your go-to tool for the cycle, which is the BB terminal, something that we continue to add more and more functionality to as time goes on. So whether or not you are a long-term investor, whether or not you are an active trader on lower time frames, and soon whether or not you are an on-chain degen, we will have the tools for you to be able to conquer these markets in an effective and efficient way. So check out the BB terminal and check out the Because Bitcoin Discord. We're nice enough to package these two together, and I cannot promise that these prices will always last. Of course, if you're looking to hone your educational base or even reach trading level mastery, check out the BB Academy. Come learn from the entire team. We put a lot of effort into that course, and obviously we all have very different trading styles. I really think that's where the value in the course is, that you get to learn from so many different people who are crushing these markets in a variety of different ways. So check that out as well. And last, but certainly not least, maybe the volatility in this market is getting to you, right? Maybe you long the top of ETH today, right before a Bybit headline. Who knows, man? There's been a lot of volatility in the market, right? It's been very difficult to pick winners. Both of these two things have been demonstrably true over the last year and a half. Well, we have the option for the team to manage capital for you, and that is BB Wealth Management. We trade digital assets in a way that looks to capture their asymmetric history for upside returns, while also balancing the downside risk posed in any financial markets. So check that out. If anything that I just said over the last 2 minutes resonated with you, check out the description below this video. We have everything linked below. But we hope that you enjoyed this episode of Market Check, guys. We'll be back for another one on Monday. Reminder that we are live Monday through Friday whenever the New York Stock Exchange is open. Our typical start time around 11 to 11:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, don't forget about Market Talk with King Wabi, which will be finishing up our week as far as Because Bitcoin content. So check out his spaces. He does a great job hosting those shows. And so make sure to stay following and subscribe to both Wabi as well as the Because Bitcoin account on X, so you can be notified not just when we schedule those spaces, but of course also when we go live. That's it from us though, guys. We hope that you have a great weekend. It does seem like maybe there's going to be I don't know, maybe some extra volatility this weekend. I guess we'll see. But protect your funds always. It's a great lesson. It's like we were saying at the beginning of the show. If there's not 100% certainty that the people who are custodying your funds can guarantee it, better safe than sorry, right? But we hope that you all have a great rest of your weekend. We will be back for another episode on Monday. But until then, guys, thanks again. And of course, as always, stay safe.